on the American flag before we stand up to this guy?
Joy, you've worn blackface.
I did not go in blackface, please.
No, she was not in blackface.
Thank you. It was a Halloween party. I went as a beautiful African woman.
Did you have tanning lotion on,
A little, I had makeup that was a little bit darker than my skin.
I'm hoping Dr. Jill becomes a Surgeon General. She's a hell of a doctor.
Whoopi, you said that Roman Polanski, it wasn't rape.
I know it wasn't rape.
child molest, maybe? I'm not sure.
It was something else, but I don't believe it was rape.
Oh, no.
Jim Acosta, without a doubt, wins the competition for Trump's least favorite journalist of all time. Let's listen to some of their feistier moments.
I'll tell you what, CNN should be ashamed of itself having you working for them. You are a rude, terrible person. You shouldn't be working for CNN. Should I let him have a little bit more? What do you think, Peter? Peter, should I let him have a little bit more? Sit down. I'm changing it from fake news, though.
Doesn't that undermine?
Very fake news.
I know, but aren't you?
When I raise money, excuse me, I've watched you on television. You're a real beauty. Honestly, I think you should let me run the country. You run CNN.
All right.
And if you did it well, your ratings.
Let me ask you, if I may ask one other question, Mr. President, if I may ask one other question, are you worried?
That's enough. That's enough.
Mr. President, what do you say to your critics who say that you're concocting a national emergency here in order to get your wall because you couldn't get it through other ways?
What do you think? You think I'm creating something? Ask these incredible women who lost their daughters and their sons, because your question is a very political question, because you have an agenda. You're CNN. You're fake news.
Hey, Howie.
Yes.
Got a poll question?
Yes. Let's see. I don't know. What do you think? How about this? How many of the Senate seats will the Republicans win tomorrow in Georgia? 0, okay. 1, 2.
0, 1, or 2?
Yeah, that's because that's all they can win.
For racism, let's just say there's a vaccine that is approved and even distributed before the election. Would you get it?
Well, I think that's going to be an issue for all of us. I will say that I would not trust Donald Trump.
Now's the perfect time to get a pair of premium wireless earbuds, and Raycon is the way to go. Raycon start at about half the price of other premium brands on the market, and they sound just as amazing. And Raycon's everyday E25 earbuds are their best model yet. You get 6 hours of playtime, seamless Bluetooth pairing, more bass, and a more compact design that gives you a comfortable, noise-isolating fit. Perfect for conference calls, video chats, or binging podcasts. Raycon was founded by Ray J, and celebrities like Cardi B and J.R. Smith have already given Raycons their seal of approval. I love my Raycons, and Grace loves hers, too.
Howie, I love my Raycons. Best birthday gift ever.
I listen to much better music than she does, though.
Hey, that's not true.
Now it's your turn to see what the hype is all about. Go to buyraycon.com/Howie. That's buyraycon.com/Howie. Buyraycon.com/Howie.
Remember the boy who cried wolf? I call this one the press that cried Hitler.
The president is not only racist, he's a bigot, but he is completely un-American. He is behaving like a fascist.
This is the president, once again, just thumping his chest and acting like he is the dictator that I think he wants to be.
President of the United States is a wannabe dictator with authoritarian tendencies.
This is exactly what authoritarians do. This is what strongmen do. This is what happens in authoritarian regimes.
We have a president with a strong authoritarian personality.
Like a dictator from another nation. People that grew up in authoritarian regimes, seeing echoes of that in President Trump. He likes these figures like Vladimir Putin and Kim Jong-un. This is more the actions of a dictator.
He totally wants to be a dictator.
Better strap yourself in. It's time for the Howie Carr Show.
We believe that we do have an accurate election.
No, you don't. No, you don't. You don't have. Not even close. You're off by hundreds of thousands of votes. And just on the small numbers, you're off on these numbers.
Don't you just hate wrong numbers?
Live from the Matthews Brothers Studios.
President Trump is the arsonist here. You've started this fire, and now you're saying, whoa, look at this. Oh, my God. All these people believe what we told them.
This fire was started when you completely ignored, for example, our investigation of Hunter Biden. No evidence of wrongdoing there, and now we find out after the election, no, there is a fair amount of evidence to the point that we have a real FBI investigation.
Senator,
so
Unchained and unstoppable.
Again, I don't drink, but I'm happy to have ice cream with anybody anytime.
Rump snobs, hacks, and moonbats beware. It's Howie Carr.
Don't pay the ransom, honey. I've escaped. I am back. Happy New Year to all concerned. If you'd like to join us this afternoon, 844-500-4242, 844-500-4242. And we have so much to catch up on with the return of my show. Thanks to everybody who filled in, Taylor last week and Grace the week before. And I appreciate everybody hanging in there. And I had a pleasant time off. I still wrote my Herald column, but I'm back at work now. And we have so much to talk about. The Georgia Senate runoffs are tomorrow. And, I don't know how many Georgia listeners, viewers we have. But if you're in Georgia, don't worry about anything that's happening between the corrupt Republican statewide office holders like Kemp and Raffensperger and Donald Trump. Just get out there and vote, because there's a lot at stake. There was a story, I guess the Dow was down earlier in the day, over 500 points. People are very nervous about these Senate runoffs in Georgia. If the Democrats win both of them, and none of the safeguards that were needed to prevent what happened on November 3rd have been instituted. One of the federal judges happens to be Stacey Abrams' sister, by the way. And she said you can't purge the voter rolls in a couple of counties of dead people and people who shouldn't be registered, people who are gone for whatever reason. It really is third world like the situation we seem to be descending into here. Stacey Abrams' sister is a federal judge, and she gets to make these decisions. I mean, Donald Trump's sister was a federal judge down here in Florida, where I'm broadcasting from, but I don't think she ever made any decisions that materially affected Donald Trump's political career. She did lock up Johnny Materano, the hitman for the Winter Hill mob, when he was arrested back in the 90s. Anyway, so there's a story on the wire right now saying that if the Democrats take both of those Senate seats, and that they have two appallingly bad candidates, a pajama boy named John Ossoff, who has a trust fund and makes Chinese communist propaganda films, and then they have this deranged minister who has been arrested for interfering in a child abuse investigation at a church camp, who lionizes and worships Fidel Castro, who is a rabid anti-Semite, who was accused by his ex-wife or estranged wife of running over her foot, and one of whose top aides said that cops are bad. That video just came out today. That's an O'Keefe special. These are the two people who are running. But the more important thing, other than their absolutely appalling political beliefs, is these two guys with Kamala Harris as the president of the Senate would give the Democrats the majority in the Senate. And that means that they could push through all of their far left agenda, whether it's open borders or Green New Deal or confiscatory tax rates like from the Obama years. And there are predictions now that if the Democrats win those two Senate seats, the stock market will take an immediate 10% crash, which would be, I guess, a correction, right? A correction. So there's a lot at stake. The president will be speaking down in Georgia tonight at 7 o'clock. He's having a rally to try to keep everything in Republican hands. As long as the Republicans have the Senate, they should be able to stop most of what's going on. 844-500-4242. This is this whole thing with this tape that was released yesterday afternoon. After all these years now of Trump, you just read the headline and you see and you know that it's just totally exaggerated. I went to the supermarket early today to buy a couple of things, and so the guy in front of me in the line was buying the New York Times. Go figure. But I looked at the headline in the New York Times. It was like a 9/11 headline, or Pearl Harbor, or JFK assassinated. I mean, it was stripped across all 6 or 8 columns of the. Trump tries to tell Secretary of State to find votes. Find votes. He told him. He said, "You got to straighten this out." He said, "I won the state by hundreds of thousands of votes." And then he goes down the list. He goes down the list of all the, we went over it before the break, of all the places where votes disappeared or votes were created. He asked him about the video of the Fulton County poll workers. First, they say there's a water main break, which didn't occur, and then they shut it down, and then they pull out all those ballots from under the after the Republican poll watchers and all the reporters are gone. They start running them through, and according to some counts, they ran through some of those batches of votes 5 times. 5 times, and the Secretary of State told him that didn't happen. That didn't happen. In other words, as Richard Pryor would say, who are you going to believe, me or your lying eyes? And the other thing about it is, would President Trump or any sane person conspire to commit a felony, i.e. voter fraud, on a call that was being listened to by probably over a dozen people? There were all kinds of White House lawyers. There was his chief of staff, Mark Meadows, the former congressman from North Carolina, I think, whose district I think used to border Georgia. There was Mike Pompeo, the Secretary of State. Plus, there was Raffensperger, who obviously is not a fan of the president. Plus, God only knows how many of his staffers. Do you really think the president of the United States is going to try to conspire to commit a federal felony with all those people listening in online? You know, we've been told over and over again, the president is a gangster. He used to negotiate contracts in New York City with the likes of Fat Tony Salerno. He was tutored in the ways of the mob by mob lawyer and former Joe McCarthy employee Roy Cohn. They kept saying that over and over again. That was one of their minor themes, but memes. But it was there, and now he's so stupid. He's so stupid. He just blurts this out. It's ridiculous. 844-500-4242.